Hi, I'm Christine, and today we are going to talk about the rising sea levels here in the Philippines. Did you know that more than 167,000 hectares of coastland, or about 0.6% of the country's total area, are projected to go underwater? This is especially in low-lying island communities, according to research done by the University of the Philippines. Low-lying countries such as the Philippines, with an abundance of coastlines, are at significant risk from rising sea levels resulting from global warming. According to data by the World Meteorological Organization, the water levels around the Philippines are rising at a rate almost 3 times the global average, due partly to the influence of the trade winds pushing ocean currents. On average, sea levels around the world rise from 3.1 centimeters every 10 years. But water levels in the Philippines are projected to rise between 7.6 to 10.2 centimeters each decade. One program that the department here in the Philippines does is it teaches communities to adapt to rising sea levels by ensuring public schools, public spaces, and are not built near the coast. But soon, adaptation on a local level won't be enough. Policymakers need to convince governments to curb their emissions on a very global level. Roughly 30 years from now, major cities in the National Capital Region could likely be submerged as coastal flooding is seen to become extensive worldwide by 2050 due to climate change. Through a screening tool provided by Climate Central, it showed what areas in the country are at risk of sea level rise and coastal flooding. Based on the map, Metro Manila cities such as Manila, Navotas, Malabon, Pasay are likely to be affected by coastal flooding. In Central Luzon, Climate Central screening tool indicates that Bulacan is threatened to be underwater by 2050. In the Visayas region, some areas such as Calibo, Aklan, and Rojas City in Capiz may also be submerged because of coastal flooding based on the study. And in Mindanao, Cotabato City along Datupiang and Northern Cabanatuan o Kabuntuan in Maguindanao are at risk as well. So, which solutions can we consider? Our first solution could be building seawalls. One solution that cities employ to decrease flooding from tides and storms is constructing seawalls. These barriers are often built to a height of 5 to 6 feet above sea level, though they're also very expensive. Another one is building storm water pumps. With higher seas, water doesn't drain out to the ocean as easily. Drainage systems are designed to channel excess rainwater from the streets and drain it into the sea. But the pressure from rising sea levels and higher tides can really affect them. Another solution is upgrading our sewage systems. Very, very likely here in the Philippines, our floodings can disrupt sewage systems and in particular threaten septic tanks. Since salt water is corrosive, it can break down tanks and cause sewage to spew out, creating health hazards. Towns can upgrade sewage systems so that stormwater doesn't seep into pipes, upgrade septic tanks, or replace them with sewer lines. But it takes, and it has already taken, a lot of time to do that, especially here in the Philippines, where our waste can really go back to us at times like this. And our last solution, of course, is creating a natural infrastructure. So coastal communities can restore natural infrastructure which can act as a buffer against storms and coastal flooding. Natural structures such as barrier islands, oyster and coral reefs, mangroves, seagrass, and salt marshes can really work alone or in unison with, built infrastructures like seawall to absorb storm surges. These projects are really cost effective and can improve the natural environment for the community and really save our important habitats. While we talked about our last solution, what is the best solution that we can have? Across the globe, we see very innovative and resourceful solutions from different communities that are coming together to really combat sea level rise. So we should learn from these cities how they responded to sea level rise and be inspired and maybe do something similar to what they've done, or be inspired, do something very different that is really fitting to our country. The most important thing to remember is that solutions take time. The first step to any of these solutions is making sure that local officials are really aware of our concerns about sea level rise and flooding, so they can really prioritize the implementing of these solutions. If we have done our part and they still haven't done theirs, we should really come together and use our voices to amplify the need for this very, very important cause. So I hope you learned something today, and thank you very much for watching.